What's up everybody, this is Saber and welcome to StarMade Ship Reviews. Now in case you aren't familiar, this is the series where I grab random ships from either the website or have them sent directly to me and do a review on them. I try and keep it quick, but it usually doesn't end up working out that way. Now there are three main points to the review. First is an overall aesthetic look, so I do a quick tour of both the exterior and the interior if the ship has one. And then I do a quick mobility test, which usually just consists of me turning around to fire on these targets, which is the third test, the armament test, which will show me basically what the ship is capable of in a combat situation. Now, the water targets here act as ballistic gel so that you can see the penetration of a ship's weapons, and the shield targets up here at the top are 10,000 shields, and that kind of helps show both smaller ships' weapon capability as well as some larger ones, depending on how quickly it takes it out. So, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the first ship of the day. Alright, so the first ship of the day is going to be the Scylla, and this was created by J. Zimmerman 4. So let's go ahead and take a quick look around this thing. I'm using a Steadicam sort of configuration that I've got built up, which should make things a little bit smoother compared to my previous episodes. So right off the bat, getting a pretty decent bichrome kind of color going on in here. There is a lot of like greebling, which I think works with this design. Looks like it's very combat focused, granted, or given that it has 6 cannon looking things on the front and then 2 back here by the sides. I do like it. I feel like it might be missing something. You know what? Actually, no, I don't know. Because it's definitely not too bland, and I don't think it's too busy because most of this serves as kind of combat greebling. There is, or rather there are, some good details in here. Let's check out these engines a little bit closer, actually, while we're here. I really like this design because it gives the engine some depth, which a lot of people kind of forget about. I mean, there are certain advantages to having, you know, crystals where it's just straight, flat, right up in the front. But then adding your main engines, having some depth and stuff, really kind of gives the ship something else overall to its design, I feel. And it got some pretty nice details. I do like it, and part of it is sort of its simplicity in that it doesn't do... It's not trying to do too much, I think. Everything is fairly stylized. It's not trying to go all over the place. It sticks with one style that's very consistent throughout the ship. So I think that works. I still feel like something's off. I can't quite put my finger on it, and I do realize that I say that quite a bit, but I think that's kind of just the natural process of building a ship, is that when you build a ship, it never really is quite done, no matter what you do. So you're always kind of tweaking it a little bit and, you know, constantly just adding little things or removing little things or just changing little things. But I think because they have, I guess technically the 3 colors since they have the ice crystals, that it works pretty well. But yeah, I do like even just these ridges back here that have the extra crystals in there. That kind of adds up quite a bit to the ship too. Anyway, let's go ahead and see if we can find the door somewhere, which those of you who have watched the series for a while and know that can be a problem sometimes because my HUD's hidden. So for the time being, the core is invisible, so I don't really have any indicators as to where the door might be. So since we haven't really gone to the bottom, let's sort of look around here. It may actually be in that hole on that side plate, which has sort of a fantasy element to it. There's the doors, because it's just floating, so it's not really supported. So some people might think of that as lazy, which depending on the ship design, I might agree with you, but I think with this one it kind of works. I've seen a few ships that also pull it off really well, but it just creates more of sort of a fantasy air about the ship because it's got this, you know, magical, super advanced technology, which is probably not that super advanced, just kind of keeping everything together as the ship flies around. So anyway, let's go ahead and head up and see what we can find in this ship. Look, little jump drive escape pods. That is freaking fantastic. I've seen people do escape pods. I don't think I've ever noticed anybody have jump drives on them before. So that would make me feel nice and safe if I were in this ship and had to get out quickly, because then I can really get out. So as far as the interior goes, keeps with the same design. It does feel pretty dark in here though, and maybe that's the intent. So in that case it would work, but it is fairly dim but that is okay, because I'm assuming that this is a combat-oriented vessel. I don't remember... I don't really look at... I never look at... Well, sorry, I try never to look at images of the ships. I don't usually even read the description, but I think I saw a little bit of this one, and it did say something about a battleship, I think. But got some logic lights. That is always nice. Oh, it's in the... Ooh, nice. See, that's good, too. Because you kind of hide stuff inside the walls, which is really good. And probably more of the... Oh, yep. Everybody loves to do beds like this now. Yeah, if I can... Or there we go. Okay, here we go. Yep. So now this would be a bed, in case anybody hasn't seen this. We have had a lot of new players lately. That's how you get it to look like you're laying in a bed. You just have a little gravity module. You got a little light down here you can turn off, and you can actually go to sleep. On your back, you know, whatever you want to do. And then, yeah, you just hit the gravity again and get out of it. Just like that. So this would be like a small barracks kind of area. We got here a small barracks area. All right. Oh, yeah, the core. This never happens. I usually have to search for hours finding the core. Okay, not actually hours. But I like what you've done in here because it's got some nice depth to the walls with these little diagonal pillars. I don't know, it's wedges and tetras and all kinds of good stuff. So we're actually not going to get in the core yet until I'm sure that I've seen the rest of the interior. Now I could do this in build mode, but where's the fun in that? You can't get lost if you're in build mode. And that seems to be half the reason why you guys watch this. Sort of like going to a big race. Like, you don't want to see anybody get hurt, but you're kind of half wishing for just some catastrophic wreck. Oh, that's the airlock. Okay, hang on. All right, so that's... Hang on, if I was outside, which I'm not. Let me shut... No, wait. I just want to get this thing to work right. Oh, no, what have I done? Oh, jeez. Okay, let's try that again. Ah, clever. His airlock, when it's open, flashes. And so then when you walk through it, yeah, nice. It actually like pressurizes and then opens. And I'm in gravity too. Now that's how you do an airlock. All right. So let's move on to this hallway. That's the core again, isn't it? That's the core again. What's over this way? Probably also an exit. Yep, other airlock. All right, sorry. So yeah, okay, that seems to be all of the interior on this thing, which it is a fairly small interior, but it works. I would like to see either the introduction of another color, like white or gray, to kind of help illuminate this place, or adding in some white lights. Because it, again, you're keeping to your original color scheme, which works, but don't be afraid to add more colors for the interior, because that can kind of help liven things up, change it up a little bit. Okay, so let's check out the cameras, of which there are some. That's an interesting camera. I guess that's just sort of a crew room, safely contained in the center of the ship. And ooh, down by the guns. Always nice to see some gun cams. Ooh, and nice shots at the turrets too, which I imagine are probably pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and first do cannons, because I'm gonna do the penetration target first to see how far the shots will penetrate with just one click. That's how I usually do this. So here we go, first shot. That was just one quick click, and let's see how far that went in. So that was rapid fire. Rapid fire cannons. I don't think it was explosive, doesn't look like it, but it did go in about 15 meters. So not too bad. It's the way that people used to, I don't know if they still do anymore, have to get penetration, or sorry, the way they used to have to do it to get good penetration on cannons was to do layers of cannons like behind each other. So that way each shot would be taking out the block behind the shot that just came before it, if that makes sense, which it doesn't, and I apologize for that. But now there's different ways to do like penetration and punch through and all that kind of stuff. Oh, that's a shield drain then, I think. So once that recharges, first we're going to test the missile. Oh, they're downward facing missiles. I hate it when that happens. I mean, I love top and downward facing missiles, but I hate when I'm expecting it. All right, yeah, it's gonna come straight out the front and blow up the target, and then it doesn't. It's just very anticlimactic. Okay, anyway, let's try, what was it, number 3? That was also No, 3's the cannon. You know, all right, let's test out the shield drain, because ion effect is shield drain. Oh, that was fast. Holy crap. Now keep in mind, these targets have 10,000 shields, which for some people is a laughable amount, and for some people is a decent amount. So it's just kind of balanced that way to allow fighters to be able to get a good test on these, as well as large ships. So the ion effect on this is very nice, because that was an instantaneous 10,000 shield drop. So now with that, there's not a whole lot of way that I can test this other than waiting a long time, and I don't feel like doing that. So we're just going to test out the other missiles, which are hopefully forward facing. They're top facing. That was actually what I was guessing, but I wasn't sure. Okay, so cannons to the front, missiles to the top and bottom. That is what this needs. Okay, build mode. That's what I was in. All right, so let's just go ahead and use the cannon to tear this thing apart. And it's dead. Oh, that does actually have explosive effect on it. Okay, because when you see the orange numbers around it, then that means that it is also doing a explosive effect. So that is cool. And that is highly destructive to this poor, lonely little target. All right. So I think that about wraps it up for this one. That was actually kind of a short one, I think. I'll go ahead and go on to the next ship. And so I will catch you guys then. All right, and the next ship of the day is going to be the MBC-204 Gen V Galileo. I think Galileo would have sufficed, but hey, whatever you want to call your ship, you can call your ship. So, it looks like a nice compact design with blinking nav lights. I always love seeing blinking nav lights. And got a nice color gradient going on in the back for the engines with the red lights mixed with the gray hull mixed with the blue ice crystal. I love the front. That is amazing because it's kind of like a nice big solid ram feel to it. Looks very dangerous, very deadly. I would not want to be hit with that. Also some spiky front bits, which are probably just antennas, but they also have blinking lights, which are, I love them. I love logic stuff. Now that it's in the game, there's so many cool things you can do with it. So this is a excellent implementation of the, not simplistic, it's sticking to a good color design, color scheme. This gun barrel though, that I just found that I already skipped over on the other side, is amazing because you got the bracing around it, but then you also have like a muzzle flash director thing. I forget the name of it. Somebody will probably correct me on that. But yeah, this is a excellent use of both the negative space to keep it clean looking, but also using the rest of the details to really kind of pop out of your ship. So excellent exterior on this. I love it. I'm going to go ahead and check out the bottom side of it because I have not done that yet. One quick thing though that I just saw. So with how the system, HP system is currently set up, which technically it's not the HP system yet, but system blocks will take more damage than hull blocks will, hull or armor blocks. So something like this up front, once you lose your shields, if someone is shooting the exact front of your ship, it's going to tear through those power modules, or sorry, power generators or reactors or whatever their official name is now, and just go right into the rest of your systems. So if you had, I would recommend like some glass or crystal armor would be even better to put in front of that. That would kind of help protect it just a little bit more in case your shields do go down. Now maybe that's not an issue, maybe you have ridiculous shields on this thing, I don't know, but I'm just sort of a word of caution to anyone who wants to use exposed systems on the exterior of your ship. It can be done, just be very careful and mindful of it. Got some nice strut work on the bottom here though, along with more blinking lights. Here we go. So got an airlock system in here. Nice, good, works for me. Okay, so I imagine this is probably a similar airlock setup. So here we go. I don't know if it's got any, okay, no, this one just uses switches. So hit that button, I'm already in gravity, airlock's open. Okay, perfect. So that's more of a manual way to do it, which is also totally fine because a lot of times on servers, if you do area triggers, it will not activate quite at the right time just because of like minor server lag, anything. It's not even bad lag, it's just normal lag going to a server. And you've got some very colorful stuff up here, which means this probably has a ton of weapons. So let's see what this button does, which is my new favorite thing to do ever now that logic's in, but I don't know what that does. Also, those armrests would really hurt because that's very spiky. Just saying. Okay, got a Bobby AI. I don't know if that's going to be a functional AI But if it is, that would be scary. And ooh, look at all this. Here's some more exposed logic. But what does it do? Enable or disable auto fire for left or right broadside shotguns. Oh, yes, please. Let's hit all the buttons. I love hitting buttons. All right, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. All right, you know what? We're just gonna have to see if we can find some windows to look out that side, or it'll have to wait. But I will have to remember where that was, so that way I don't totally forget. And what is that? It's another. No, it's an elevator. Okay, that is an elevator. So hang on. First, let me see what's in here. I'm already out of gravity, so that's the activation module at work. And why isn't the door opening? Is this a super secret door? Is it locked? Oh, there we go. Okay. This is the core room. Okay, I will have to remember where this is, because if I forget, then yeah. Nice core room though. Kind of cramped, but that's okay. It's not too bad. I've seen far worse. I've made far worse, so not complaining about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this elevator down and see where we can end up. And that button. Okay. So now in gravity, this is probably gonna be crew quarters. This is a med bay. I think this is a med bay. And then I'm editing the video and I'm like, oh, that's clearly that. I get it now. And then I still get like a bajillion messages on it. But that's okay. So yeah, this is the med bay. So the others were just barracks. And yeah, so I apologize if it sounds like I'm talking really fast. I'm trying not to do episodes that are half an hour long, but it's still probably gonna happen because I usually get big ships. And here we go. Oh wow, we got a whole credits list thing here. Alright, Scylla Galileo, logic capabilities, powerful weapons, and is FTL capable. That's very nice to know. Also, for anyone wondering how you do this, because I've gotten a lot of questions on it, basically all you have to do is, when you're in a display module, just keep typing. It will skip right over to the next block. So a lot of times you can get a floating sign or floating text of some sort. If you just put a display module in a wall and then keep going, it will end up over here somewhere. The maximum distance that I know of it can go is 4 blocks. Okay, let's go ahead and head back up to the core and then give this thing its other 2 tests. Let's go ahead and check out the cameras for this thing. Yes, I love it when people do cameras like this because it gives a nice alternative to the standard in the front camera where you can't really see anything. It instead gives you an idea of where your ship actually is. Also, cockpit views are always great. And where are my sideways facing cannons? They should be going off, but I don't see anything going on here. Alright, so already moving away at a decent clip, so I need to go ahead and get in and fly this thing for a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the HUD back on. Oh my, what the heck is going on there? Are those supposed to be the cannonball things? I am so confused. Oh, those are area triggers. Wait a second. Are you telling me that this has some sort of a sensor for the sides of the ship? Okay, now I am genuinely curious, but hang on first. I need to get back over to where my targets were, so I don't drift off into the depths of space and be lost forever. And then we'll investigate a little bit further. So, a fairly slow turn radius, but a ship this size, you're going to expect that. Because, you know, it just being as long as it is, it's going to take a while to turn around. That's just how the game works. So, first here, let's move on up to the front. Way up here in the middle. There, perfect. Right in that center camera we saw earlier. And test out the penetration of the main cannons. One quick click, that was a really cool array. I like it. Looks like it's kind of low penetration. Never mind, I'm sorry, did I just say low penetration? Did I mean insanely high penetration? Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant insanely high penetration. What the heck? It just went through 100 blocks of water in one click. Was that seriously all from that one? Hang on, I gotta try this again. That's insane if that's the case. Alright, again, one click, one tiny little click, and yeah, that went through 100 blocks of water. Oh no, that one didn't quite. That one didn't quite. That was only like 85 or 86. Oh man. What a lame cannon. I'm kidding. Alright, hang on. I'm gonna try one more click just to see if it'll go all the way through again. Alright, so one more click. And yeah, that one made it like 4 blocks shy of going all the way through. So I would say the penetration is pretty good on this thing. I want to figure out what the triggers are on the side, but yeah, otherwise that's pretty ridiculous. So you can imagine what it's going to do to the shield target, but first, okay, I'll tell you what. Actually, no, I think that's going to be the side ones. Let's figure it out. Okay, so here we go, testing these. This thing does have a pretty nice profile. Again, some of the extra struts and winged bits look a little bit flimsy. You might want to beef those up just a tad, but for the most part, it is a really nice silhouette. Okay, so no, that is a normal missile. A nice normal missile. Just took out the front face of my target rather quickly and nicely. Very clean job. Kept the circle mostly intact. It is not 4 that I'm looking for, apparently. 3 was the other missile, and it's gone. So just for interest's sake, first I'm going to remove this so that I can see. Okay, kind of a long reload on those. No surprise there. But let's go ahead and tear this thing up a little bit. That is insane how much damage that's, or how much penetration the thing's getting at least. Because it's just, I haven't seen that in a long time, if ever really, on the on the series. I've seen probably this much on a server somewhere, but it wasn't recorded. So this is a very, very impressive build. I would definitely check it out if you are looking for a combat-capable ship with a pretty nice interior. So finally, just to kind of show this off one more time, let's fire the missiles at this poor lonesome, poor defenseless, rather, not really lonesome, it's got buddies, poor defenseless water target. So there's one, there goes a lot of it. Hang on, let's get a good shot of that. Okay, that was a pretty decent radius, but then the second one I think is going to be even better. So here we go. And okay, no, it's about similar. Pretty much the same radius, I think. So anyway, this has been the, I'm just going to call it the Galileo for short, created by Almond. I don't believe I said that initially. So yeah, definitely an amazing ship. Almond, if you see this, please tell me what this whole system is. If it's for cannons or if it's some sort of sensory thing for attacking. I don't know, but I want to know. So let me know in the comments down below. And we will move on to the third ship of the day. All right, catch you guys then. Alright, so the last ship of the day is going to be the Emperor-class carrier, which was created by J. Stenholt. So let's go ahead and take a look. Definitely going to have a dark build with a purple accent, I assume. Probably carried out throughout. Never mind, mostly gray. Oh wait, no, I do like the purple lines in this though. That creates a nice accent, carrying it forward from the rear all the way up to the front. Now my question is, if the ship is called the Emperor-class carrier, why is it the CV-114 Charlemagne? Maybe that's just a difference in what you wanted it to be named? I don't know, that's just nitpicky, I guess. Let's see, you got your turrets with a lot of exposed systems, so hopefully their shields are very good. Looks like they got some good cannons on there though, and I'm assuming this is kind of a boxy build, but I'm assuming that it is that because it is a carrier. So I'm going to go ahead and keep on looking around. We've got some pretty decent details on here, or at least attention to detail. You got the satellite dish up top, as well as these missile turrets up front. I do really like those missile turrets. Those are good because they got the base on them, and then they actually have the little rocket launcher pod looking things, which actually look like they do sort of in real life. And I like these triangle accents, as well as clearly visible doors. Look at that, everybody, doors and lots of room. That explains the semi-boxy aesthetic to it, and that is okay when you're doing a carrier, but there are sort of ways to trick the eye into not thinking it's as boxy, and you've done some of those, but the front of it, I guess, is really where it seems to suffer most from that. And I do like that you kind of combine both struts, but then you also have wiring or piping or hosing or whatever you want to call it for what almost appear to be sort of directional thrusters, because they aren't docking points. So it almost looks like that's what that is, but you got it wrapped around the whole ship, which is really nice. And it kind of ties everything together, makes it look like it's a functional vessel, as well as an aesthetic design or detail. And more nav lights, which is nice, and they're correct. Right goes on left, green goes on right. Ooh, numbered docking bays, or hangar doors, rather. That's interesting. Curious to see what those are going to be for. So let's go ahead and keep going around, and then one more lap, basically, and we'll go ahead and jump inside the ship. It almost looks like a cruise liner, I'm thinking, as I just see all the windows, like an actual, not like airliner, but more like an actual like ship cruise liner, where they have, you know, all the portholes in the side of the ship. I think, I mean, I know this is an engine cowling, but with as much detail as you have on the rest of the ship, I'd like to see something on the top of the engine cowling back here. Even if it was just another giant turret, I think that would work. But just to kind of, you know, maintain the same level of detail throughout the ship, because there are just like a couple blank spots here and there. And don't get me wrong, negative space is great. It is wonderful, but you kind of want to maintain the level of detail that you have for the whole ship across the board. Otherwise, it seems like there are blank spots, when otherwise it might just be considered empty space, or negative space. Okay, so heading in here to the door. I like how you have windows. Like, just looking out in the hallway. That's nice. Because then, yeah, exactly. Access restricted, present ID. Oh, clever. Very nice. Yes, I do like that. Because then you can see who's coming in, and if they should be coming in or not. This is a bright mess hall with comfy looking chairs. No benches for this place. This is all about lounging back and enjoying your meal. Hey, Planet Terrains! Everybody does this. And it's great, don't get me wrong, this is good. This is a good thing to do. Because it's a texture that people don't typically use or see that often. So it works well as food. Giant pots of gloop with veins in it. I don't know if I want any of that stuff. Main hangar, perfect. Let's go to the main hangar. Struts. Beautiful struts everywhere. Holy crap, that's a lot of struts. I would almost say that's too many struts, but that would just be preposterous. Ooh, I like it. Something that I would not even really recommend, just a tip, if you will. For railings, it is kind of nice to do a wedge form, so that way when you're standing here, you can actually see down at a 45, rather than having to like jump up if you want to, you know, look over the edge, which is very dangerous. Don't do it. You know, you might fall and, oh wait, there's no collision damage, or there's no fall damage. And I do like your fighter, looks like. Oh no, well, it's kind of a combo, fighter and bomber, because you got missiles in here too. Pretty nice. Got a nice tail up here. And let's go ahead and head on to the back. So far though, I'm liking it. Even, oh wow, okay. So you're well defended against intruders, because you got little turrets up there, and then larger turrets right here, which actually I think those are astro technician beams. So those would heal the ship actually, if I remember the new textures correctly. Well, I say new, but they're not that new. Wow, what's this room? Power room, probably? No, what is this thing? Yeah, shield room. Okay, wow, very cool. I like it. What's over here? We got a long hallway. We got a long hallway. Good grief. Oh man. Okay, cool. Nice windows. The little external airlock. Cool. Something I would like to recommend. Recommend. Man, I'm telling you guys, I can't talk tonight. For a long hallway like this, I would consider putting in gravity blocks that face like that way, so that we can just hit it and then just rocket down the whole thing, because that is a long way to walk. Ah, looks like we're coming up on the bridge. Surprisingly enough. Alright, got some red, got some green, very Christmas feeling. Access to Bravo deck, okay. So this is more of a pseudo, oh, it's a forward observation port. Port? Okay, that works. Ooh, nice view of the turrets and the front. Cool. Alpha deck. Conning tower access. Alright. Ventral airlock, ventral shuttle docking. Okay then. Alright, got some more stuff. Conning tower. Like comms tower? I don't know, I'm slightly confused at that. Lots of color in here. There's a lot going on with the ship. That's for sure. External access. Oh, this is gonna be, ta-da, we're outside. Giant cannons. Okay, that's nice. Alright, so let's see if we can't find that core. And yes, I know I could take off tab G, but where's the fun in that? See core right there. Bam. Woo. Shield array. Nice. Current capacity recharge. Ooh. Okay, cool. Nice to have that in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and test out this thing's systems. First, we check the cameras. See what we got in here. Lots of, oh, two. There's only two cameras. Alright, well, that'll work. Got some nice Canon cameras at least. Or beam Canon cameras. Alright, let's see what kind of speed we can get. Not bad. This thing's going to turn like something that doesn't turn well. I was going to think of an analogy. Not happening tonight. Oh man, this thing is super slow. But it's also pretty freaking long, so that is understandable. And I believe that's my... whatever. It's probably my camera floating around over there. Yep, that's what it is. Okay, slowly turning around. Okay, the thrust though is pretty low, actually, to be honest. Not the best accelerating ship, but it is also very large. Well, not very large, it's large. Because it's actually, how long is it? 377 meters long. Actually, that's not, by today's standards at least, that's not that long for being a large ship. Because, yeah, people are, oh, that was a turret that fell off. Whoops. Okay, moving forward, we will test out the weapons on this thing. We got, let's see, damage beam, missile, ion, cannon, and cannon. So we'll see what the kind of damage this thing can do. And then I want to test out those swarmers, because I love swarmers. So here we go, see if we can stop without hitting anything. Eek. Oh no, it's not gonna work. No, this thing has no stopping power. Oh no, my shield, target, penetration, target, whatever. Alright, we got a beam, that's cool. Oh, it's not a constant beam though. Oh god, it's going everywhere. Alright, you know what, we're just gonna use this other one. See when I didn't knock it away too. Where did everything go? Everything always leaves me, oh no. Okay, seriously, did I hit everything? Oh my gosh. Tell me I didn't just hit everything. Oh my gosh, I just hit everything. Oh, it's a catastrophe. Alright, we're chasing the shield down, alright. Missile that, oh, there it goes. Nope. Another missile. Ah, yeah, direct hit. Ooh, that's a powerful missile, very nice. Punch right through the shields and onto, wow. It's just spraying bits everywhere. I love how it does this, by the way. Alright, so that's what it looks like now. Let's go ahead and get this cannon here. Alright, whoa! Alright, changing sectors. Wait, what's the shields are down, but that cannon didn't go through them, it seemed like. Oh yeah, it's just taking out one block at a time, okay. Alright, so I apologize that I wasn't able to get a penetration test, but yeah, the brakes on this thing are not very good. I want to take that into the mechanics, see if you can get those swapped out. The beams are pretty good though. Not bad. Freaking love little bits flying around. Ah, this game's so amazing. Schema you rock, in case you're watching this one. Okay, so I think that about does it for this episode. I will be grabbing the stats for each of the ships because I forgot to do that. So you'll actually have those little stat plates before, and this thing is just spinning like a top. It is not stopping. Holy crap! I don't have like I have rotational dampening and everything on this client, so it's just really going nuts. Anyway, that about wraps it up for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please let me know in the comments down below. There will be links to the ships where you can download them, and the timestamps for those ships in this video in the description. And yeah, if there's anything you think I can do to improve the series as well, it's kind of a constant evolving process. So please let me know that as well as we go into the dark abyss. Holy crap. Anyway, thanks again, and you guys have a good one.